Welcome to the Moon Tales Anime Podcast. I'm your co-host, Azumi. This is the host, Justice. Okay.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Next, we have Hawk. Hawk,
Hello.
introduce yourself. I
I'm
love
Hawk.
that.
Yeah.
Love that. And last but not least, we have Just Riku.
Hey, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, we're
Lovely,
glad to have
lovely.
you. We're glad to have you, Just Riku.
Glad to be back.
So today we're going to be talking about Jojo's Part 2.
Yes, one of my favorite
Battle-
series ever.
Battle
already by part
Tendency.
two?
Battle Tendency,
Yes,
where they
It's
tend
called
to battle.
Tendency. I forgot.
I
Man.
am actually very hyped that you guys are talking about JoJo.
I love JoJo. My favorite episode up until this point, without a doubt, is JoJo Part 1. Like that, I listen to it and I just start dying.
You mean the opening?
Interesting.
No, the first,
Danny?
our first podcast where we talked about Danny for 35 minutes.
Oh, God.
Oh,
The
yeah.
poor dog.
Dio did nothing wrong.
Oh God,
Dio
man.
You did everything wrong in that
Anyways,
episode,
we don't
and
need
you
to-
know it.
We don't need to bring up old stuff.
It's
talk
We're
just
gonna
about
talk about
part-
the fact. Oh my god, I've been wanting to bring this up so badly. I have noticed that in the first 3 parts that I have watched, I know I'm outing myself, guys, but in the first 3 parts that I have watched, there's always some type of animal getting abused or murdered, guys.
Yeah, Oda
you
loves
noticed
killing
that?
dogs.
Whoa.
Oda,
Danny dies, right? Part 2, that squirrel dies, right? Man, R.I.P. that squirrel, man.
there's also
And
dogs
then-
that die in part 2, I think.
In part 3, there's this dog that dies. Like,
In the dream.
no, not in the dream.
I mean,
Death 13. He killed the dog.
No, in part 3,
Yeah, Death 13. The stand killed the dog.
yeah. The stand killed the dog. Dude,
yeah.
like, there's always animals dying, man.
It's not just animals, it's dogs. Araki has a thing with killing dogs. Like
He
every
really doesn't
single
like
part,
dogs.
a dog
Yeah.
dies a brutal death.
Yeah,
does
fucking,
not like
fucking
dogs.
Iggy.
That's
part
just
3 died.
sad. What does he
Wait,
have
wait,
against
no,
dogs?
no, Riku, no.
Maybe he got hit or bit by a dog as a kid, or
Maybe,
like,
and this is his
Maybe.
a
revenge.
dog like traumatized
Maybe.
him in some way, and now he just really hates dogs in his
Maybe.
adult life and lives with like
There's a few
7
dogs
cats.
that live happy lives. I won't
In
say who
JoJo?
because it'll
A
be
few?
a spoiler. There's a very select few of the elite. One of them is Koichi's dog. I know he doesn't die a brutal death. But yeah, besides that, almost all of them die. That's just Araki's signature.
Yeah.
So-
if you're a dog in JoJo, you're bound to die.
Yeah, that's like
Chances
being a
are really-
human in Attack on Titan.
Yeah, exactly. Like the chances are really not in your favor.
Yup.
Yep.
That's
Anyways,
just sad.
let's get on to Battle Tendency. Hawk, give us an overview.
Okay, so it starts off where Joseph is in America, and that's where he meets Smokey, because Smokey tries to steal his wallet.
Representation.
He then follows him, and then he
Yo,
sees him getting
why?
beaten up by cops, and then he stops the cops, and then he's
Police brutality.
just like,
Yeah.
I'm so strong. And then they cross the road, and there's the taxi. Well, they're with his grandma now, aren't they? I don't know.
Yeah,
Public
who's-
transportation.
They meet up with his grandma somewhere.
Who's Erina
He
from part one?
punches. He tries to punch the taxi driver, but his grandma stops him, and he's just like, "I was just getting this taxi to stop for you so we can go."
Yeah.
Because he's smart like that. And then they hop in there. They go to this restaurant, and then you have like.
Can we
They
just
have-
talk about this scene? I want to
Yeah.
talk about the scene in the restaurant because
It's a good scene.
it seems like what somebody would lie about doing on Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, my friend was getting racially
Literally.
harassed, so I got up and I punched the abuser, and then everyone in the restaurant cheered.
Oh my gosh.
That's so true. though. Yeah.
But what I did love about that scene was this was the first time you got to see him do the whole like, oh, what you're gonna say is blank.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
See,
God.
that's what like surprised me. Like when I saw that, I was just like, wait, what? How did he just like predict that?
he's a psychic.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's continue, Hawk.
So yeah. So then there's this guy that gets up and like starts harassing them, and then he's just like goes at him, basically. Then there's another guy that then tells him that Speedwagon died. Oh yeah, because Speedwagon died. Well, died.
Well, the introduction.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
The introduction.
I forgot
to
that
part
until
two.
just now. But yeah, anyway,
The-
so he tells them that he died. They get upset, and then Joseph is just like, "Why would you say that here? Why would you do that to my grandma? Blah 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 blah." Then we have
let's just talk about Speedwagon for a moment.
his
Yeah.
character's cool.
The beginning of part 2 had like one of the biggest bombshell beginnings for me, because after going through the 9 episodes of part 1 and seeing how like relevant just one stone mask was, to see a temple riddled with these stone masks,
Jesus.
that was just chilling. And
Yeah.
when you saw a Speedwagon get attacked and he's bleeding, I thought he died.
Same.
Yeah,
Clearly,
me too.
he
I was
didn't.
just like, I was literally like, no, why? He's like such a good character. Why would you do that? But then, yeah.
All right. So, continue off from Joseph deciding to go to Mexico to find Speedwagon.
Yeah, so then they go to
Mexico.
Mexico. And then, wait, what happens in Mexico? I can't remember.
Tequila
believe-
Joseph.
I was gonna say
Joseph
Oh,
Joseph.
yeah.
stresses. He
Yeah,
crossed
Joseph uses his intellect and quick wits to come up with the best way to sneak in.
Charm.
Oh, his
Yeah.
natural
So
charm.
we both know. I said Jojo Part 2 is when it gets hot, and I
That's where he
delivered.
meets. That's where he
It
like
got
sees
very
like
hot.
Stratos and then like they like, and then he gets out the gun and like shoots him. And that fight
Yeah.
happens there, isn't it?
You know what's crazy? Like when what's his name? Forget his name. The Nazi Stroheim. Stroheim gets
Rudolf von
introduced.
Stroheim?
Yeah, Stroheim
I
gets
love
introduced
Stroheim.
as just the most shitty person. Like he is terrible, I must say. Like has these captives, or I think they are captives. The women there were also captives, and the lady was shaving his beard, and she was just terrified. And like I don't know, that scene felt like pretty dark.
But law.
Yeah.
But law.
Yeah.
But law. German
Cool.
science is the best in the world.
Yes.
I liked this. I liked this because like there's vampires. Like that's my favorite like mythical.
They're beyond
thing.
vampires though.
Hmm?
Well,
the Pillarmen.
particularly the Pillarmen. Well, we haven't reached
Pillarmen-
there yet.
Pillarmen. Well, when Joseph, I think he gets captured at some point, and he gets taken to Speedwagon and Stroheim,
Oh yeah.
and they speak about, I think, Santana.
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 The Pillarmen.
Santana, and he was the most disappointing out of the Pillarmen, I must say. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that he was bad. It's just that he's outshined really badly by all the other three.
yeah, they were all so much more muscular. I mean, they had so much more character. They had so
both.
much more personality. That's what I care about, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, this like I think this scene had
Had
like
a
some of
lot
my
of
favorites.
personality.
Had some of my funniest like favorite moments when like Stroheim finishes like washing his face. He comes over and he's like, "Speedwagon."
Oh yeah.
I was just dying. I was like, "Why do you have to say it like that?"
It was funny.
The voice actor better have gotten paid extra for that.
Yeah.
Another funny moment was when Santana like molded himself through the vents, and then
All right.
Oh yeah.
he came outside, and Joseph decided, oh, he hasn't done anything wrong to me yet, so I can still like try to be nice. And he's like, forget what he was saying. Happy, yes, go. I forget what it was. He was like, happy, yes, how are you? Something like that. I don't know the exact terminology. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
canceled. I don't deserve being a Jojo fan because I don't remember this exact phrase. But I don't know. I feel like this part, like Riku said, just got outshined by everything else that came after it. Especially because this part didn't have Caesar, and Caesar was such a big part of part 2. So,
Yeah.
It did. You said didn't.
what?
You
What?
said it didn't have Caesar. It did have Caesar.
Not
No,
this.
I mean, no,
not,
he's talking about
I'm
the
talking
Santana
up
part.
until
Oh, right.
the
Yeah.
Santana part.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Got you now. Okay.
So I know you love Caesar.
Duh.
We all love Caesar. So
You made it
Go
sound
on.
like yeah, I
Hawk.
understand you now. Yeah. Got
Hawk,
you.
tell us about the introduction of
Yeah,
when
the second
Speedwagon unites Caesar and Joseph.
So the way that they meet is, well, Joseph sees him as this like guy who's just like womanizer
pretty
kind of
much-
guy,
He's
right?
just
Like
Joseph. He's literally just Joseph.
no, like Joseph sees Caesar as
I know. I'm saying, but they're mirrors of each other.
Yeah. True.
Caesar is a womanizer, but literally so is Joseph.
Yeah, that's true. But like they try my mind is going blank now. So like they try to
Upon reuniting, they clash because their personalities are very, very similar, and so off of the get-go they're at each other's head, and it all sort of takes a turn when they become under the tutelage of Lisa.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they're in that like they get
Yes.
put into the like
We missed something though.
I can't remember what it's called. We
Let's
missed
go
something.
back. Let's go back because we missed
No,
something
because
very
okay, so like
important.
at the start Caesar has been told that he has to help Joseph with his Hamon skills, right? But
yeah.
so Caesar's just like hold this glass of water and like tip it upside down or something, and the water shouldn't come out with that. But
Yeah.
like of course Joseph
Oh
does
my
that,
God.
but it all comes out and he's just like, you're not as
I
good
love
with
that scene.
Hamon as you think
Yeah,
and stuff.
I love that scene
He's too aggressive.
purely for how Caesar decided to sit in his chair. Like he
Yeah.
walked into the room, jumped 10 feet in the air, did like a backflip, and then just landed sitting down with his legs crossed on the
Yeah.
chair. It was hilarious.
It was funny.
I love JoJo's, man. But I said we missed something, and it was a big thing. We missed Smokey and Joseph fighting Straizo.
I mentioned that, but you all ignored me.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Because I mentioned how I liked that there was vampires and there was Straizo in that fight.
Oh, my bad.
And how Smokey was just like, oh my gosh, where did you get that gun? And he's just like, bam,
Oh
bam,
my
bam, bam.
God. That was, I think that's like, if not top 3, if not top 2, it's top 3 funniest scenes in JoJo's,
Funny
because
as.
like the comedic genius of that scene, I am just completely perplexed. Like he's fighting this immortal vampire who is only defeated by sunlight or this magical power. And you know what like fucking Chad Joseph decides to do? He pulls out a Tommy gun out of his back pocket like they're playing GTA. Like this guy, he did not have that in the previous scene. He literally pulled it out of his back pocket.
I do gotta say, like, if Araki does something really well in the entire series, it's make memorable moments, and
Yeah.
this is definitely one of them. Like,
I will
I would
always,
never
bro.
expected a freaking Tommy gun out of his ass
I was,
to fight a
Yeah.
vampire.
I saw this fan art of like pretty much the end of part 3 except reversed, where like Jotaro is the fanfic is where Jotaro is killed, and Joseph like has him in his arms, and he's like, I will never forgive you, Dio. And then the comments are like, bro, this fight would be over in 2 seconds if Joseph had his bouncy balls and his Tommy gun. Bro, I gotta say, if he had his Tommy gun, the fight would be over so quickly. Joseph is broken. Also, Joseph literally has the most ass pulls I have ever seen. But I love it because like fights aren't like, I mean, the fights, like the fight mechanics aren't really a serious thing until like part 3. Part 2, it's literally all gags. It's the funniest shit.
It
Yeah.
is.
All right, Azumi, what did you think of when he shot a vampire with a Tommy gun?
It was hilarious. He just got it out of nowhere. Like he just whipped it out and was like, Tommy gun, shooting time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you guys think of Caesar though?
Caesar? Caesar is one of the
Caesar,
best
one
parts
of
of
my
this.
He
favorite
was a
characters.
brony. He was
As you
great
all
as
know,
a person.
Caesar is one of my favorite characters in JoJo's so far and probably
Hmm.
forever.
I
I really started to love
No.
Caesar from the introduction all the way until his end. I gotta say, like, he really got to me during the training.
Yeah, I enjoyed him during the training, but
Me
one thing
too.
I actually really loved was how much he cared about family and his ancestry, and it's something that's kind of a minor focus throughout the series, like the strings of fate following you through generations. I thought it was nice to have it with him, and the Zeppelis are intertwined with the Joestars by
Yeah.
fate, which pretty much means they're really cool and fun until they're sacrificed for the Joestars.
Yeah, as far as the Pelis
Yeah.
goes, Caesar is probably my second favorite.
Of course,
Sapelli.
because Gyro.
Oh man, you already know it.
Of course, of course. I love Caesar though, man. Like my love for him is so deep. Like his death was like one of the most impactful scenes I have
I'll
ever seen.
say
But
this.
yeah,
Okay, so there's only been one other time, like during like not really a death, but like something like, because like I've read a manga for one of my favorite anime, and something happened in there, and I was just like a crying mess. Nothing, like no anime or manga after that had ever made me like cry that hard until Caesar's death, and
oh
I was
my
just like,
god,
bruh, why?
oh
Like
my
I
god,
cried just as hard, and I'm like, dude.
oh my god.
To be
I was
fair,
like crying for like 2 days after because I'm like,
Did
why?
he get smashed
Caesar's
by
death,
like a
I
rock?
felt it much more
Yeah.
than most of the deaths in the whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just done so perfectly because, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the deaths in JoJo's are just like, oh, out of nowhere, somebody got hit and they're dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Very much
But
so.
but
I think what-
Caesar's was drawn out. It was like
Yeah.
a tragedy, and even before he died,
Danny's
the music
also
was
drawn
playing.
out.
Fuck Danny.
and he had such an amazing fight too.
I have to
Yeah,
say,
he should
I
have
didn't cry when
won.
Danny died.
He should have won. Oh my god.
I do like the
Caesar-
respect he got from.
Yeah, the way he was, I believe Wamu had said that if he didn't have his elemental advantage of wind versus him, he would have been defeated. And he said he's thankful that Caesar didn't run into Cars because Cars doesn't have the same abilities that
Honor.
Wamu does. And so Caesar could have beat Cars before he was sexy and ultimate life form.
Mm.
I am digging
Yeah,
myself into
I
a hole.
loved how like before he died, like there was like that bubble, and he had
Ah,
his bandana
I,
in it, and
yeah,
Joseph got that, and it was just like so. Then when it came to like the fight of him against that guy, he was wearing it in Caesar's honor because he wasn't just
yeah.
fighting for himself at that point; he was fighting for Caesar as well. Which I found that was just like, oh, like.
Yes, I loved Caesar so much. Like he
Mm.
was just he was just such a likable character.
Yeah, he was. Like
Like
it was
it's
just like
hard. Yeah,
when they were in the training and they were going up the oil slicks, whatever that was, like that. I can't remember what it was
the
called.
tower,
Yeah, the
something.
tower. And like it got to that part where Joseph accidentally touched that button and paid it, and he gave him a look of concern, and he's just like, it wasn't a look of like disappointment or anything, it was a look of concern because like he didn't think he could really get up there, yet alone Joseph, who
Oh,
had just been new to
I
it, and it was
love,
just like, damn, bro, you're making me love you even more now. Why?
bro. This, yeah, I love Caesar and I love Joseph. Joseph had just the funniest moments.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when they revived the Pillar Men and Wamu is fighting? I don't forget who he was fighting. I think he was fighting Caesar, and Joseph's on the ground in the background, and Wamu hears something move. He looks, and Joseph lies dead, and then Wamu looks away,
It was
and then
just like,
Joseph continues
why?
crawling.
Dude, I was dying.
Bro,
I love JoJo's, man. I love
it's so
JoJo.
funny.
There's
It's just
also
like,
that
why
weird
would you?
moment where Joseph was checking out his mom,
Oh,
where
yeah.
she's like bathing and he's like, nice, but like he didn't know it was his mom.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that never sits well with me.
Oh, the nice part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Lisa was such a terrible mom. I just love that there was like that meme comparing Lisa um and the Bruno Bucciarati.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like have you guys seen it before?
Not sure. I have no.
Ah, it's about
I
being a
haven't.
mom. It's about
I'm on
being a mom.
part 3.
It's comparing them, and it's like on each side, it's like Lisa didn't even raise her own son. Bruno Bucciarati adopted and cared for
I
5 children.
remember. I remember.
Lisa lives on a secluded island and rarely leaves. Bruno Bucciarati is well liked and respected member of the community.
Oh,
Lisa
Bruno.
smokes. Bruno hates drugs. Lisa uses being a criminal as an excuse as to why she can't raise her son. Bruno doesn't let being a criminal stop him from being a good mom. Lisa forced her son to climb a pillar for several days on end with no food or rest and threatened to leave him to die if he couldn't reach the top. Bruno Bucciarati didn't do that shit. I love Bruno, man. I love
Bruno is
Bruno.
such a great
I
parent.
love Bruno. He's the foot. Bruno is great. When you guys get to see Bruno, you guys will understand.
Man, what Bruno is and Mista is, those two are like what made part 5 for me.
Bro, now honestly, I was never high on Mista. Like
Really?
he was just there. My
I
guy
mean,
was Albacchio, bro.
wait,
I love Albacchio.
when we get to part 5, we're gonna have a much further discussion about it. We don't
Yeah,
want to end up spoiling these two girls over
yeah.
it.
Narancha, people loved him. I didn't care too much for him. He was cute, but
Dude, I was reading the manga. I didn't know Narancia was a boy. Like when I was really deep into the story.
I'm so confused.
anyways,
Okay.
we're talking about part 5
Yeah,
of characters. Let's
yeah,
go
yeah,
back
yeah.
to
We're
part
not going
2.
to be talking about part 5 here.
What do you guys think of Lisa?
Lisa? I
Yeah.
have not much to say about her because like she's so meh character.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? Her legs are guitars.
Okay, so she's good looking in the series. That's it. Like
no,
other than that, she fights with a scarf. That's cool.
I liked her, but I also didn't.
She
I
has a
just
cool
don't
She had
care.
moments when I
design.
liked her, but
She had a cool
majority of
design,
the time
but
I
as a
didn't.
character, she was underwhelming.
Let's put it this way: I care less
like
about her than I do about SCDC.
ACDC was
Yeah.
actually interesting, I must say. Like he
More
was
than
the
Lisa
only
Lisa.
one to counter Joseph. Like Joseph's like, what you're gonna say is this, and then yes, ACDC's like, no, you're gonna say this. Like
Yeah.
ACDC was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, speaking of memorable moments, when he started crying, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I was so weirded out.
Yeah, same.
right?
I
It
was
was
just like,
so creepy.
Yeah, like
You
you
know
just
that
make the
thing?
big bad guy cry.
You know that thing when you see something
Let
like
the man
really
cry,
like you
okay?
feel like you shouldn't be watching, like or you feel bad or embarrassed, and you're like, I don't even want to look at this anymore.
Yeah.
Let the man
Like,
cry,
dude,
guys.
suck it up.
Mm. I liked Wamu as a Pillarman too, but I feel like I don't know. I don't like Wamu as much as everyone else.
What I like more about Wamu is that he feels like he has more honor. You know, like he gave
I
Caesar his
we
I
respect.
don't remember Guamo.
we all
What
love
one's
that.
that one?
We all
Well,
love his honor, but
I mean, like you
yeah.
don't remember Wamu? He's the one that killed your favorite character.
Oh, him, right, okay. No, I've got you. Okay.
Wamu.
I was confused for a second. I remember him as the wind guy, not his name.
Wamu.
Yeah,
That one
Wamu,
guy.
that wind guy,
Wamu.
wind guy.
I just
I
remember him
do.
as the wind guy who killed Caesar. No.
I mean, I enjoyed that the last thing that Caesar did because he was so proud of his bloodline was that he ripped the lip ring out of his lip with the antidote just so that Jojo can have a chance, and then Wamu
Yeah.
let him have it because he was satisfied with the fight.
Yeah. Oh my God, Caesar. I loved Caesar, man. Bro, and then just this it was so sad because you knew he was gonna die for like
Yeah.
5 minutes before he died. And then like eventually when the stones come crashing down on him in the shape of a cross, like I
It
don't
was
know,
just
was that supposed to symbolize him as like
Honestly,
sacrificing similar to the way Jesus did?
Mm,
yeah, I guess it did. But you know, okay, can I make a One Piece kind of spoilerish?
How far in
no.
it?
No.
No.
How far in
So
it?
close to Thousand Sunny.
Okay, I think everybody has seen the Thousand Sunny. Actually, no, Hawk, you haven't seen the Thousand Sunny.
The
Huh?
what?
Okay,
Yeah,
never
yeah.
mind. I was
No,
just gonna
never mind.
compare it.
Never mind.
I was just gonna make a comparison. Like you could tell that he was not gonna win,
Yeah.
like Caesar when he went off on his own, but he ended up doing much better than I expected. And it reminded me of, you know,
Ah,
you know what I mean in One Piece.
yeah,
You know, it's close to the introduction of the Thousand Sunny.
yeah. My boy Usopp.
Yeah, you got it right. You got it
Of
right in the first
course,
one.
you already know, bro.
Now you know, but I just didn't expect it to be this well.
You already know, bro. Like I'm trying to be like those those
I'm so
annoying ass
confused.
sixth grader.
Actually, I'm gonna take this moment, and I wanted to tell you something. Do you know the characters in this part are inspired a couple of characters in Street Fighter?
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
this part specifically inspired a couple of characters in Street Fighter 2.
Of course, because they're sexy. I mean, they're muscular as hell.
Yeah, and also part 3 also has a couple of
And they're
characters that got
sexy.
inspired and they inspired
Bro,
the character designs. I mean,
Jotaro.
like,
Jotaro needs just so much more love, bro. I love Jotaro.
actually, have you ever played Street Fighter Alpha? There's a
No.
character that is directly inspired from Lisa, even down to the way she fights.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't play video games, so.
Have you seen Guile?
Oh yeah. Who is he
Have you seen
inspired by?
Stroheim? Have you seen Stroheim and his hair?
Oh, guy was the yellow
American.
guy with electricity.
No. He fires sonic booms with his arms.
Okay, no, I'm stupid. I don't know
That,
games.
oh man, I was gonna say like that's a little like an interesting tidbit. And, like some people say it's based on Polnareff, but really he has the identical hair of Stroheim.
Polnareff. I love Polnareff. Anyways, let's talk about Stroheim.
Stroheim, yeah.
Stroheim.
Your
like
favorite
I
Nazi.
said, he was a terrible person. He is a terrible person, but he's just so damn likable. Bro, I love
Science
Stroheim,
is
bro.
the best. I mean, German science is the best in the world.
Engineering, German engineering.
Like only in JoJo's would you have like a Nazi team up with an American who's teaming up with an Italian dude, all to defeat some Aztec half-naked god. Like,
From
That's the
Mexico.
most weirdest combination of people.
yeah.
I think the story came. I'm not sure how it was in the anime, but like I think that the years of when this happened is right before World War II.
It is around there. I think it's World War II already started because it's 1940, and World War II started in 1939.
Yeah, so somewhere around there. Yeah, can't
It
remember
is
per se.
1939 to 1945.
1945.
Interesting.
I remember high school history.
Yeah, I remember that the manga like the symbolism with the Nazis was much more evident. Not like here, like they cut it out a lot in the anime.
Yeah, because no one wants to see a bunch of swastikas. Fuck my brain.
I mean, I think we were short of the training arc, right?
Yeah, we were talking about the training arc. How do you guys think of it as a training arc? Like, I didn't really think of it. I didn't
I just
think
felt
of
it
it as
as
much.
like not a major
Yeah.
scene, but it was good in the sense that like we saw
I liked
Joseph's
it to
and
be able to.
Caesar's
Yeah.
relationship get better.
Yeah, I loved the moment where what's his name? ACDC invaded and Joseph finds the body of one of his mentors and he's like, "Oh no. He attacked him and he took out his lungs. Lungs are vital for a hormone user." But like Joseph, lungs are vital to
For
everybody.
everyone.
Literally. It's like you can't live without lungs, but okay.
You just can't.
Oh, I loved it. How did you guys think of like the whole plot line of the sacred jewel of Asia? I think it's called.
And it was just like MacGuffin, you know.
I liked it. It looked
Yeah.
cool.
It's fine. I didn't think too much of it. I guess it
Yeah.
was just like a means to an end. It wasn't interesting per se. I guess there were a million ways to protect it even better.
Mm.
I know, but I just like the lore of it. Of like what's his name? Cars coming back and he's trying to track it down and he's like, "Oh, it was last found in the 14 I could last track it to the 1400s and this church had it and then blah blah blah." I love it. Not that like it's the greatest thing ever, but I feel like for something that is a plot device in a lot of other series, it wouldn't have been given so much attention. Other series, it would just be like, yeah, we had it, we've always had it, blah blah blah. But I kind of like the fact that it's been moved around and and there's a reason why Cars hasn't been able to get it for like, how old is he? 90,000 years old ish. Like there's a reason he hasn't been able to find it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would have destroyed it. That being the only object that can be used to make like the ultimate being. I was
Could they
like,
destroy it?
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was maybe like some indestructible type of thing.
No, I mean, like it's just a jewel.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No,
It
like
is
I was
not
just
worth
thinking
it
like,
at all.
and you're gonna destroy it now, and then they were getting closer and closer to Cars, and I'm like, okay, and now, and still not destroying it. I'm like, for fuck's sake, just destroy it.
Yeah. Okay,
Sure.
I always was under the assumption that it was just some sort of
Yeah.
ability. I mean, it was some sort of special thing that couldn't be destroyed. But if they,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause like,
that was pretty stupid if they didn't just destroy
yeah,
it.
like, because if you could break it, then it would be like the most obvious
Yeah.
option.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I thought maybe they just couldn't, but like,
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I love Cars. Like
Cars?
as an antagonist, love it.
He's very majestic.
He
Yeah.
is. Like, do you remember when he was going to like that cabin and he's murdering people? It was just such a beautiful way of murdering people. Like
He's
I
very
know.
methodical.
he had those flashy little sides on his arms that were really cool. Yeah, he's just really
Remember
cool
the
in general.
squirrel scene?
That's
Oh
a
my
bit
God.
later. That's he's the
So-
ultimate life force. At that cabin though, remember when he fell down like into that chasm and Joseph finds a way to like the most bullshit Joseph way to get out of it. Connect the falling ice spiral things, the icicles, to
Yeah.
connect them to that was bullshit. We all know that was bullshit.
I
But
mean,
it's
like bigger
Joseph.
than the things he does as the perfect being.
No, I'm talking about just what Joseph does. Joseph is a oh you mean towards the end with Joseph? Yeah, Joseph just lucky, bro. He's just he gets
He
everything.
is.
But I loved when Cars got to the bottom and he has like the angriest face and he's like, okay, you gotta wait for now, and then he just bursts into laughter. Like it was the most weird scene, not the most because JoJo's just filled with weird scenes. Suppose we
I,
can fast forward.
I
Riku,
was
were you going to say something?
I was gonna mention, like, speaking of weird scenes, like you remember when I know I'm fast forwarding it a bit to the moment where he became the ultimate being, but you remember when his hand turned into a squirrel
Yes,
and then
let
everybody
Azumi
just
talk
Yeah.
about this. Let Azumi talk about this. This is her scene. Azumi, tell us.
go
Oh
ahead,
my
Sumi.
God, you guys finally want to know about the squirrel. So
Yes.
basically, what happened is that there was a squirrel right in the middle of the battlefield, and everyone just looks at the squirrel, and Cars is like, I'm gonna ruin it today. So Cars makes like his hand turn into a squirrel and go near the other squirrel, like it's like hopping or whatever squirrels do toward him, and
It was
um
pretty cute.
like Joseph goes like, "Hey, squirrel, watch out!" or like, "Don't get near the other squirrel." And the squirrel gets next to him anyway, and they start like being cute together. And then out of nowhere, like the squirrel just starts eating the other squirrel.
Yep.
In that scene, my parents walked in and they were like, "What the heck are you watching?" And I'm like, "Oh,
To be
Yeah, I
honest,
showed my brother; he was
I don't know."
dying.
that's honestly like a very mild scene for your parents to walk in on. Like
Yeah,
it,
they were
it could
just
Yeah,
have
like,
walked it could
"Hey."
have walked in on my favorite Cars scene was like when he first became the perfect being and in the moment the dawn is behind him, the sun is rising and the light is coming from behind him and he says that he's finally conquered the sun. And you know what this a mad lad does? Instead of like I don't know, like attacking them or doing anything, he just poses, lifts his loincloth to show his balls. You
Yeah.
got watch that scene. He actually lifts his loincloth
I
just
remember.
to
Yeah,
flex.
I remember that. Yeah.
He's
Bro,
really
I love
flexing now.
Cars. I love Cars, man.
Get it?
Yeah, but that's why that's why I appreciate the squirrel thing even more, because like he turned into a perfect being. The whole fight is really serious.
And the
Jojo's mom is almost dead. And the first thing he does, turns his
oh
hand
my
into a
god,
squirrel, and everybody just concentrates on the poor
Yeah.
random
bro.
squirrel's life. And then the
Yeah,
squirrel murders almost all the Germans.
yeah, yeah. The Nazis who were actually the good guys.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Yeah, kind of crazy how life works. Uh,
Super
But-
crazy,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, but like that man, when he started fighting, that he started to turn into parts of the animals. And I'm like, okay, I can get
oh, I
behind almost all of
loved
it.
it. I loved it. His introduction as the perfect being was just beautiful, man. Like it was beautiful. Like going over all of his attributes. My favorite obviously was like as the ultimate being, his physique is of a Greek sculpture. His beauty is unparalleled. Like the narrator is literally just like hyping him up.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
loved it. I loved it.
But then it's just like, he's only the greatest being on earth. And then, dun dun dun.
That's one thing. Like I
I
always
was
have
always
this
waiting.
discussion. I always have this discussion. Like he has the ability to copy all life forms, right? And
On
Mm.
in
Earth.
JoJo's, on is it just on Earth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or he can't do anything with outer space? Like,
Well,
does it say
if he
anywhere?
could, he would have done it, wouldn't it?
No, no,
Wouldn't
no.
he?
I
Yeah.
mean, like hypothetically, if there was let's say an alien that can survive in space and they landed on Earth and he could see their DNA or whatever makes them up. Is he able to just copy that and manifest whatever and whatever allows them to exist in outer space? Is he able to do that?
Probably not
I don't
because
think so. Yeah.
probably not because they say that he's the greatest being on Earth, meaning it would have to be something created on Earth that he can turn into. It couldn't be something from like outer space or something.
The
Since
way
it's
the way I look at it is like he can only turn into carbon based life forms. You know,
yeah.
that's the way
Okay.
I look at it.
Maybe. Would he be able to like transform into like a Saiyan? If a Saiyan were on Earth?
I don't think so. No.
Ah, damn. That would be cool though.
That always.
I mean,
I
he could
always
have
had that
turned into a
question.
rocket ship, couldn't he? Technically.
He can shoot air jets out of his body, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think he was copying like different things, like life, different animals do, like certain lobsters, I believe, or I don't know if it's lobsters, just certain types of crustaceans. By adjusting their pincer speed, they can shoot out like a sonic, not like sonic boom, like a rush of water at an opponent that can like stun them in a pretty quick way. So maybe he was using that. Anyways, I think Cars is one of the coolest powers in the series, hands down.
I do think though it is really bullshit how he survived the lava.
I don't think so.
He turned
It
his
made
Well, no,
perfect
because
sense.
he used to like
He used his brain and
he
he
Yeah.
turned into a
realized that
crab.
yeah, no, but he created insulation with his own flesh and air, which makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. Like I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Uh, it is smart, but I don't know, man. I'm not too convinced that it would have worked.
You don't
Yeah,
think
with the
so?
logic.
With his body regenerating at such a fast rate, I feel like he probably could have done it, especially with two forms of like two exoskeletons that
Yeah.
are for. Yeah, I think he definitely could have done it.
Yeah, he does. He
Yeah.
does make a like a unique kind of combination.
Okay, we got a bit ahead of ourselves. Another funniest moment
Kind of like
when
0 for 1.
Cars turns into the ultimate life form. Um, Joseph does something that he did before, like in the Strazo fight. He's like, in the Strazo fight, a Smoke is like, "How are you gonna beat him?" Well, I have pretty strong legs, and he's like, "Oh," Smoke is like, "Oh yeah," and then he's like, "Full running away," and he just starts dashing.
Nigerunda yo. That's why he
Yeah,
starts
I
screaming
love
out
it.
there.
I love it.
My
Yeah.
favorite JoJo move
Yeah, that's the strongest JoJo move there is.
ever.
Yeah,
But I do like his strategic retreating though. Like realistically speaking, that is something that more characters should use in fiction.
bro, Jotaro used it in part 3, and he's like, I don't know. He said like, "I'm a Joestar. Let me show you something," and then he just dashed out. I love Joseph, man. His quips are perfect. Like when he says you're gonna say this or that, it just makes me laugh. Like especially for like something that became a trope of his character. I never got tired of it. I actually enjoyed it the more
Yeah.
he did it.
What the fact that he keeps crashing every airplane, or the fact that he keeps
That-
lifting his hand?
Oh my god, his poor hand. His poor hand.
What
Oh
was
my
the reason
god.
that he started to hate the Japanese?
Oh, that was just at the end because his daughter married a Japanese guy.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you. I finally got that mystery resolved. Thank you.
Wait, how far through are you?
Huh?
How far through are you?
He's pretty much caught up to the
For
manga.
me?
Yeah, because
For me?
because
He
that's
probably
in part
forgot.
3. That was in the start of part 3. So how did you not know that?
I forgot. I mean, like part 3 was like the
Dude.
first part I saw of JoJo.
Bro, Riku didn't
I went from
watch it in
3.
order.
I went
Cancel
for
Riku.
no.
Cancel
Riku,
this
what
guy.
the hell?
Wait.
Why?
Back
He's a
man,
part skipper. Everyone
no.
cancel
Dude.
him.
Let me explain myself, man. The first time I heard of JoJo was through memes, and that was a bunch of years ago. And then when I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch the series. I didn't know what to watch, so I watched the one that was airing at the moment, and it was part 3. I watched it and I realized, oh, this is part 3. Now I guess I'm gonna have to go back and watch part 1 and 2. And I rewatched part 3 and then read the manga all the way till 7. I haven't read 8 yet.
Wow. You're
Dude.
still on thin ice.
Dude,
No,
still,
you're
why
kidding.
would you? This is why you check things before starting to watch. Check if it's part
Yeah.
3
Like
or
imagine starting One
That was
Piece
like
at
2000
episode
that was
980.
like, dude,
That
how would
was
you
like
not know?
that was like 9 years ago.
Yeah,
But how
dude.
would you not know? Wouldn't you
Totally
be at the start
judging.
of part 3 and be so confused because it's
Like-
like,
It said where I watch anime, it just says JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the name of the part. I couldn't tell which one was part 1, part 2, or if there was even multiple parts. I was like, okay, I'll watch the one that's airing, and it was part Stardust Crusaders. I didn't know that was part 3 at the moment. Right now, like I
Okay.
already saw everything that's in anime, and I read the manga. I love part
understand.
7,
You might still
Best
get
part,
canceled. Who knows?
bar none. Anybody that
nothing
disagrees
can
hasn't read it.
justify your actions, Riku.
By the way, it started. Nah.
Okay, let's talk about the ending.
I found it funny.
It
Like
was
the
really
way
funny.
that she was just
It was
meant to send
hilarious.
the letter but didn't.
Oh no, I'm talking about
I don't remember.
the volcano erupting.
Oh, that one.
And
Okay.
Joseph
Oh,
lost his hand and he's going into the sky. He's rocketing up on rock, and this was bullshit because like no volcano can actually launch something into outer space. Like
I mean, no volcano has been covered to hold all that pressure to shoot out something either.
what do you mean? Are you talking about when they used Haman on the lava?
Yeah, I mean, like it was manipulated.
Yeah.
It could happen.
What year does part 3 take place in?
1980.
I think in part 3.
Okay.
Oh.
1980, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because this one's like 1938 to 1939 or 1939.
This is 1940. 1940.
You sure?
Yes.
Well, anyways, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. The point is that I thought you were talking about the ending, like
No, I mean the
whole
Yeah, that's
funeral.
what-
the final. That was very funny. But the final blow where he says, next you will say something, and then Cars says it, and out of nowhere his severed hand comes and hits Cars into outer space.
You think that was planned?
Of course it wasn't. He even said it wasn't planned. But is it? It's so bullshit that that hand gave extra force to hit Cars into outer space, whereas like they were both erupted and Joseph never went into outer space.
I don't know, man. I just went with it. I didn't question it too much. I was like, at this
I
Yeah,
don't
point,
know.
you can't question things.
I
in
think
JoJo.
I think about these things too much, which is probably not healthy. But
I mean, like
it
at
was-
that point, I was like, okay, it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
it was hilarious. I loved it so much.
I mean, at that point, I was calling bullshit on the whole surviving the lava.
Yeah. Oh my god. Speedwagon's so loyal.
He
Man,
is.
He's such a good guy, man.
man, that guy went from a random thug in England to the richest man in America with becoming an oil tycoon, and then
Yeah.
helping out and then helping out his best friend's family after
For
his death.
generations. And he never got married, too.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Huh.
Even long after Jonathan's death, he still kept
I was-
supporting the Joestar family.
I was actually kind of hoping he would have a kid and they could actually
Yeah.
venture out with like the next JoJo. It
Sadly,
would have been
there
nice, like part 3, like to have a JoJo and with a Speedwagon and a Zeppeli, but part 3 has none of that.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
sad.
Oh my
So
god.
sad.
Jojo is like actually incredibly sad. For all the high moments and the funny moments, it's like there's just moments that just take your heart out. And like
Yeah,
Caesar has to be one of those moments. Like he wasn't
literally.
my favorite character. My favorite character actually, I don't want to say anything, but
Is Dio.
no, it's not. Actually, it's surprisingly not. My favorite character, the
Seriously, you
top
talk
five
about him like
characters.
every single day.
Okay, okay, you don't need to out me like that.
I'm gonna
Expose,
at you.
Jojo has a body
straight up
pillow, right?
expose
Dio
my
body
man.
pillow.
We don't need to talk about Dio Jr., okay? Yes,
Oh
I
my
gave him a
god, he had
nickname.
a kid with a body pillow.
Oh my
We
god.
do. We really
Oh
The
do.
my
kid is
god.
just a throw pillow on the couch. uh, anyway, part two ended nicely. The like you guys are talking about, he never sent like a letter, so everybody just
It was
assumed he
she okay.
died.
He said for Susie to send the letter, but she never did. And then like they all thought he was dead, and he's just like, what? It was funny.
JoJo women up until like part five. Actually, no, part four has some nice JoJo women. Even part three has some nice ones, but they aren't really like great characters. I think like the first great female character is probably Jolene. There's not really anything else before that. But you guys will see. Azumi, you had something to say?
I disagree.
Oh, go on ahead. I'd
I
love to
feel
hear
like
what you have to say.
Arena, even though like she didn't have much screen time, was pretty heroic
Yeah, that's
and a
true.
confident like older woman. Even like
Yeah.
when she got older, like
I respect that.
I respect her pretty much.
Like, I'd
she
say, like-
went through a
No,
lot,
like,
and
yeah.
I
she
respect your opinion. I'm
went
saying.
through it. And then there's what was her name? Joseph's mom?
You mean Joseph's wife? Like
No,
Susie
mom.
Q? Oh, Lisa.
Lisa. While she's a shit person, like she's a shit mom, she was pretty strong and heroic too.
I know, but strength and heroicism doesn't make a great character.
Doesn't make a great character, but they were strong characters, strong-willed. Like Arena isn't obviously like physically strong, but she's strong-willed.
Yeah, but that she didn't have anything like that made her great and stand out like
It isn't like
amongst the other
over the
characters.
top, but I do believe that it's great.
I feel like you haven't seen great female characters yet. Like when you get to see Jolene in part 6, when you get to see even like what's her name?
I'm not putting them on like, this person is like top one, number one, this person's number two, this person's number three, and like
But like,
the
is
best
there
characters.
anyone?
I'm
is
just
there
saying that they're good characters. Like
okay,
they're not
good.
annoying. They're not
I
like
agree.
pushy
They're-
over the top. They're there, but like you don't see, they're like there for
Okay.
like
By
um
anime standards.
for like
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
for what's the word? They're not there for just fan service like most shonen display. They're there because they're characters that are going to be
Okay.
important for the story.
I understand. By shonen standard, yes, they are
I'm not
better
saying
than
by
average.
shonen standard.
They're better
Standard.
than
I'm
average.
saying that they're good characters.
They are. I'm not disagreeing. My
You
statement
disagreed with me.
was
That's
my
why
statement. No, you were saying different things. My statement was that you guys
You were
haven't
telling me
seen
they
a
weren't
great
great.
character. Yeah, they're not. Good is not great.
You
Like, is there anyone who's the equivalent of, let's say, a Joseph or a Caesar? Or even just
not that I
a
have met
funny
so far.
character like Cars or Stroheim or somebody who's just interesting in that way. And I'm
Are
saying
you
you will
saying they
meet
aren't
them.
interesting? Like if that's your opinion, that's fine. I'm just stating
Yeah.
mine.
No, and it's fine. It's fine to it's fine that we don't see eye to eye. I'm just saying, like, you will see characters where you can say, "Oh my God, I can compare them to Joseph. I can compare them to Caesar. I can compare them to Jonathan." Like, you will see female characters like that. But up until this point, in my opinion, there aren't any characters like that.
Hmm.
That's all I will say.
In JoJo?
Yeah, there's no female character you can compare to Joseph in so far in part 2.
Oh, in part 2, okay.
Even part 3. What are we going to talk about? Mariah? Holly?
Is it bad that I kind of don't know who they are from the names only?
Holly Joestar, Jotaro's mom.
Oh, okay,
and,
yeah, Holly Yoster, yeah. And who
uh,
was the other one? Marley?
Mariah was the one with the magnetism power that made Avdol suck.
Oh, the
Joseph's
Red Riding Hood girl, yeah.
Yeah. She was nice.
Yeah, she was really well designed for a random villain.
By well designed, he means she's hot.
I mean, sure, that too. But I mean, like her design was really, really well done for just a random ass villain of the week.
I think he did them all really nicely. All the like cartoon villains kind of characters in part 3. I think they're all nice. Except the guy with the sun stand. He was just boring.
It was kind of funny that he was just sitting there.
Anyways,
with a little
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Very ahead of yourselves.
Let's talk about part 2. Any final thoughts?
I enjoy part 2. I think in the long run, it still goes into the lower side of the parts in the whole series.
What?
But for what it is.
Whoa. Pull the brakes on that.
Let me finish what I was saying.
Wait,
man. I was just saying that as far as parts go, I still think it's a little on the underside. But as far as protagonist goes, I mean, I say Joseph is either number 1 or number 2 in JoJo protagonists.
Out of the 6 I've seen, it's probably top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the part as a whole, I wouldn't put it in the top 3.
Bro, it had Caesar.
It has amazing characters like the protagonist, but other than that, like the whole struggle.
Cars was interesting. I feel like you can make a case it's better than part 3.
I'm not
as a part.
As a part, I'm not sure about that. At least I wouldn't agree with that one.
Because it has a more like coherent storyline. Like part 3 is very episodic and like, oh, this fight leads into this fight. Even though I love part 3, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore part 3. But there's a lot of criticisms to be had.
Yeah, but the thing is, unlike part 3, I wouldn't rewatch part 2.
Really?
I have, and I love it. You should.
Other than for the Joseph scenes, because again, I really love Joseph. Everything else, a little under. I wouldn't call the part of the whole.
It's hilarious. Rewatch it. Honestly, rewatch it. You get to see Smokey become mayor.
But here's the thing, like even a lower side of JoJo as a whole is still better than most anime out there in any ways. So I still like it. Yeah. I still like this part.
So give me your ranking.
Of what?
JoJo parts.
Every part?
Yeah.
Jeez, you just in
order. Just in order.
Number 1 for me is part 7, and
of
anybody that disagrees hasn't read it yet.
Gyro, of course.
Gyro.
Go on.
Let me see.
And
next I will put I think part 4.
Ooh. Well, honestly, plot-wise, part 4 was extremely strong. Like
the second half.
The second half especially. When it's focusing on Kira, of course. Okay, anyways, continue. Number 3.
I'm between part 3 and part 6. I'm inclined to go with part 3.
Part 6. Go with part 6. Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I'll tell you why. It's just that maybe I have to reread. Yeah.
No, the ending of part 6 left so much to be desired. Let's not speak about it though. Let's move on.
Ironically, it's the most important ending.
Yeah,
Even if
but
it's not the best one, it's the most important.
no, I like the ending. I just wanted Jolene to beat him. I didn't
Yeah.
want some ugly ass kid named Emporio in a baseball costume.
Yeah, but let's not get too into it.
Anyways, okay, let's move
Anyway,
on.
yeah,
So obviously
yeah,
your number 4 is part 6. So what's your
yes.
number 5?
Part 5.
Yeah, okay, that syncs up. And then
Part
And
5.
number 6 is part 2. You
Part
put
2.
part 2 at 6?
Yeah, man.
Dude.
Wow.
And I stand by it.
Wow, you haven't rewatched it. Your opinion is invalid.
No,
Rewatch
man.
it.
No, man.
Rewatch it.
You
I am
watched
pretty
them in
sure.
the wrong order. Your
Rewatch
opinion
it. Rewatch it.
I only saw
Rewatch
part
it.
3. Only part 3. Then I rewatched the entire series and the correct right
Rewatch
order.
it.
So I watched
No,
part 3 more than once.
Rewatch it. I promise you the jokes hit way funnier.
No, it is funny. Again, I just don't like the part as a whole. I mean, like, I love
You
Joseph,
watched
but
it 10 years
I
ago.
absolutely love
You
9.
watched it 10 years ago.
Damn,
You
dude.
watched it 10 years ago. Rewatch it. Anyways, let's.
Again,
That was. Do you have any other final thoughts on part 2 besides you think it's trash?
I don't think it's trash. I
Yes,
like
you
it.
did.
I
You
also
said
like
that.
I also like part 1.
Yeah, I like part 1
I
too.
I also like part 2, but I don't know. I don't enjoy Hammond as much as I love the Stance in the first place.
I
It's
don't know.
not that
I could
it's not that
never
it's
put
bad.
part 5 above part 2. Just
I,
never.
to be fair, I don't like the protagonist of part 5.
Me either.
Yeah, I don't like Jordan. He
Yeah.
is the most uninvolved protagonist. Well, not uninvolved, but I mean, like, the story concentrates so little on him. All the way,
Anyways,
except by the end, I just don't care.
Let's focus. Let's focus.
Yeah, let's focus on part 2.
Do you have any other
It is-
final thoughts?
It's probably one of the funniest parts, if not the funniest part.
It is the funniest part.
Yeah,
It has Joseph pulling a Tommy gun out of his back pocket. He's literally playing a video game.
it has the
Like
ultimate
he's-
being. Has the
Oh
ultimate
my-
being turn his hand into a squirrel to murder a random squirrel.
Yeah, it was so unnecessary.
I know.
Oh, I feel
It has German engineering.
Yeah, it has a lot. Part 2 is amazing. One
Yeah,
thing
it
we
has a lot
didn't
of
get to
memorable
talk
things.
about was how Cars was. Cars, I thought, was a great villain. And as far as villains go, we all know Dio is completely justified in everything he does. I feel like Cars was the most reasonable villain. He thinks humans are bad and they need to be wiped off the face of the earth for how much they're harming it. And he's valid.
Understandable.
He's very
Understandable.
valid for that. So
I can see why he would think that.
yeah, and I loved how he admires and respects all of creation, except humans. he talks about how much he wants to be the ultimate life form because he wants to take all the attributes of all these things that he cares about and things, but he says fuck humans.
Yeah, it really puts into perspective how Wamu, even though he was his companion, like, Wamu still cared about humans, at least respected them as warriors.
Yeah, Cars didn't. Cars has no honor whatsoever, and he just does his own shit.
He is very Machiavellian, as you would say.
I love his backstory. I love his backstory where he just murdered his entire race of people because they had a simple disagreement. That's the most Cars thing to do.
It feels like a whole King Solomon trial kind of thing.
Yeah.
Except he actually went through with it. He took it a little too far.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he did.
Overall thoughts? I enjoyed it. I liked it. Still bottom 2.
Damn. Azumi, what about you? How do you feel about part 2? How do you feel about part 2?
Oh, it was really good. Joseph's my favorite Jojo, and Cars is very attractive.
Yeah, that's valid.
That's it.
Okay, Hawk, any final thoughts?
Caesar's still my favorite character. That probably won't change throughout the whole thing.
I can agree. I mean, agree.
Pretty good.
But I think that's completely valid.
Hawk, have you read part 7?
No, she's on part 2. We did this podcast because she's watching JoJo's now. and we're gonna
Oh,
do episodes as she finishes them.
oh, then Hawk, whatever you heard about the next parts, ignore it.
I haven't
Yeah.
even. I wasn't even listening because you guys were talking about it, so I zoned you out until
Oh,
now.
you-
Okay.
Oh,
That's
great.
good. That's very
Go being
good.
Thank you.
smart.
Never been
Um,
so relieved to hear somebody ignored me.
But yeah, just good. Gonna keep watching. Not
Okay.
not as bad as I thought it would be. Not as confusing as the first part. Yeah.
So you would rather part 2 than part 1?
In part 1, yeah.
I think everybody kind of agrees. I love JoJo.
Yeah.
Like I've said multiple times.
Like,
Joseph
liked
as
part
best
one.
yeah. Joseph as best JoJo is the only argument I will ever hear besides mine, which is Jotaro best JoJo. So
I can
Joseph-
get behind that one.
I've started part 3 and it's not too bad.
we could honestly do a whole video on ranking our favorite parts and our favorite JoJos once this is all over. Like once Hawk catches up. It'll be nice to do that all.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm really interested to hear which is your ranking of the JoJos. Also, main villains.
Ranking of the JoJo's easy. Jotaro, Joseph, Jolene, Josuke, Jonathan, Giorno. Easy.
Wait, how many parts have you read, bro?
6. I cried. Actually, no, I didn't actually cry. But I spiritually cried at the ending of part 6. So I've honestly have not been I've not built up the will to actually pick up the manga of reading part 7. I think I'm just gonna watch the anime of part 6 and then maybe actually cry at the ending.
Wait, you saw the ending of part 6 and you didn't read the next parts?
No,
Aren't you interested to see what happens?
I was depressed. I still am. It literally just killed my mood. Like I binged all of JoJo's in like a month. Like I think it's like
I can understand
140
that.
or 150 episodes. Read the manga within that same month of part 6, which is like 100 something chapters, and boom, I just couldn't go back to it.
Man, I am hyped for part 6 anime.
I couldn't, the ending just took my soul out of me.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's sad.
it
Alright.
is sad. It's not the best ending, but it is the most important one.
Let's not spoil
going
it.
forward.
Anyways, let's
Yeah,
not
don't
spoil. Let's wrap it up, everyone. Let's say our goodbyes. And
Goodbye.
if you've seen part 5, arrivederci.
Goodbye.
I don't
Later.
understand, but goodbye.
Later.
Do, do, do.
Do-do-do.